slip combing, sgraffito, my very first decorative trail pieces, and a book review, all in today's video. Okay, it is time for a Potter's Journal book review. This month, March, we have got the Potteries Museum and Art Gallery Slipware Collection. Okay, this is, from what I understand, representative of the collection. I don't think it was the whole collection. Where do you get your inspirations from? If it's pieces that you can't put your hands on, or other artists that you work, other artists that you know. I've been doing an exploration of slipware pottery over the past year or two. So this, and I've worked up to this. So this had a few words in the front. It was mostly, as I said, representative of the collection. Lots of cups and mugs with the various techniques. Some that you don't see, like feathering, or but the designs are well known. Tulips and jeweling cups, different names for different types of cups. Multi-handle cups, some things that you don't see anymore, that were once and are no longer. Pieces that are joined together, which I guess lead into puzzle jugs, and just other jugs that we would call here pitchers. Let's see, flasks, salt kit or salt pig. That's something I'm doing right now. Things like cradles here that probably they had a huge amount of them in their collection because they were commemorative pieces, not much used, but put aside and saved. Some money boxes, and then plates. I think the thing that Staffordshire and Thomas Toft, and I think he had a brother. Yeah, there it is, Ralph Toft. Pressed pieces. Contemporary, after some production or factory-made pieces. The most recent pieces are, it closes out with Amada Leach pieces and Cardew Winchcombe pottery pieces. Probably, if they were to go the next line, it would be Fitch McAndrews. But okay, let's get into the studio and see. Yeah, what we've done with this. Here's I did this one last year, and this was more a pamphlet. Just as many words in this as there were here. This one, huge illustrations. I was moving up from black and white, from small to big, beautifully illustrated, which I thought was better than just going to the internet and looking up inspirational images, which you can come up with easy. This was, and cheaply, this was $100 and some, which I've very seldom done in my life, if ever. But it was something I wanted, and I was glad to see, too. A year later, it's out of print, and still the price only went up, so I must have got it just in time. Let's see what's going on in the studio today. My favorite technique is combing through the wet slip. Normally done in that wavy pattern, but okay. And it needs to be thick enough. That's why maybe some people like to pour it in. But I've also heard some people liking to brush it in because it adds, a little more interest and depth to the piece. And let's see. I usually do my rooster, just with my fingers, but I'm thinking his beak and the eye. And this part here, better with the, needle. I like the immediacy of it. And I'm going to do about 20 of these with my dog, with a fish, with a few other animals I've developed. I like the immediacy of it, but sometimes a little hard to control. The wavy pattern is really pretty much standard on, here we go, the miniature salt pigs, like we saw, or I've seen in the Slipware Potteries book. And the wavy combing's my favorite. You do it while it's on the wheel. I do it endlessly. And here, the combing through the wet slip worked with my punks, but you don't always have the control, which is why we come to the Sgraffito. Okay, where you dip it in the white slip and then carve through. And it was in the book where I saw these multi-handled cups going by a number of names that got me excited to doing that on my treadle wheel, which I just got last year. And there is so much you can do with it, and they have so much control. And a few of my pieces. What stood out, I think, the most to me was the Sgraffito jugs. And most of the pieces being from, I think, the 16th, 17th century in the book. Puzzle jugs. But there, I think I find an awkwardness to the Sgraffito, the scratchy bit. You don't have the immediacy, but the control. There's more control with it compared to the combing, other than the wavy pattern. And unfortunately, I haven't sold that many of these pieces. And they priced a bit more because of the time involved. And I actually felt really bad when some young person, maybe collecting a first piece of pottery, asked why. Okay, the one pot was so much more than all the others that were simply glazed blue. But the technique of this, I'm not crazy about. The dust, I like the freedom of the other. And I've been looking too at the stuff, the trailed stuff in the book, and saying, why am I holding back from doing that? Okay, here's some. Okay, some of my punks. I don't have a lot of fans for this, but I do have one in California, and I'm imagining these punks carved in around this, okay, jug or flask. The slip trailing and the Staffordshire ware really stood out. Okay, as did here the slip trailing again on the salt pig. So why hold back? Here's some miniature ones. I had really thought to do everything that I could do first with the Sgraffito before moving on to the slip trailing, but finally decided, why hold back? Why can't I bring them both along at the same time? So you are seeing, just like with the Sgraffito, when you saw my very first steps. Okay, these are my very first steps now with the slip trailing. Okay, on the miniature salt pigs. Now hopefully that video that got lost in the clouds I'll eventually be able to put up, but I will make the full-size ones, hopefully in the next video. Did you see that? Why have I been holding back from doing that? Okay, so question is, where and how do you get your influences? You know, one way is if it's from books, but a probably better way is to see pieces in person. And last month's book review, Dave Drake Pottery, I went to the Charleston Museum. They also had some of the Staffordshire ware that I didn't know about. And after having seen it and read about it here, that was really great to see. So the Staffordshire ware was on a low display. I was on my hands and knees looking at broken cups and saucers. The only better thing, okay, we'll be able to hold the pieces. Or even better, be a collector. And that's exactly what I did here with the Fitch McAndrews money box. Okay, which is about 10 steps up. Okay, from the old pieces. And the salt pigs, maybe I'll have to do some money boxes next. So I am about a third of the way through watching the Fitch McAndrews videos. Where do you get your inspiration? The stuff they do is amazing. The stuff in here, just amazing. I'm going to say stop back and see where I go with this next. The salt pig is one, and the trailing techniques are endless. And, okay, stop back for that. And if that's not enough, we'll take one quick look at the painting of mine over my shoulders.